saving the best for last. I am honored to welcome a longtime champion and hero of the Bridging Divides movement, Utah Governor and Chairman of the National Governors Association, Spencer Cox. Governor Cox, thank you so much for joining us.
Pierce, thank you for that far too kind introduction. It's great to see you again. It's great to see so many old friends and some new friends. And you're my heroes. You give me hope. And as we head into what could be a very dark year, we desperately need some hope. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, Governor Cox, everybody here has experienced what I call their moment. A time when this wicked problem of division and dysfunction caught their attention, their passion, and they just couldn't look away. What was that moment for you? And why have you dedicated yourself, including your NGA chairmanship, to this mission?
Well, Pierce, I wish I could come up with just one moment as I think through this. It's really been a series of moments that have helped me along this path, kind of a conversion that I've gone through. I will tell you that it started for me. I got elected to the Utah legislature back in 2012. So I started in 2013. I was a freshman, and 9 months later, really out of nowhere, our governor at the time, our lieutenant governor, resigned, and the governor asked me if I would serve as his lieutenant governor. It was a shock to me and my family. We still think the governor was having a stroke or something. Not sure how this all came together, but I found myself in this very unique position. And I want you all to think back to 2013 and what the world was like then. Shortly thereafter, I got asked by the University of Utah to write an article for their political journal. They said I could write on anything I wanted, and I don't remember exactly why I chose this, but I decided to write on polarization and how politics was becoming religion for far too many people, and how I was deeply concerned about the future of our democracy and the direction we were headed. I look back on 2013 with just such love and admiration for how united we were as a country. And so I can tell you, though, that we were a Fox News family. We watched Fox News. It was always on in our home. Abby would be folding clothes. I would come in, and it was always there. We made a conscious decision to turn it off at that point. We're 10 years sober. I'm really, really proud of that. And it changed our marriage. Everything got better. But all of that being said, there was a moment that I've reflected on, and I've shared this with some of you. But it was in 2020. And I was running for governor for the first time, and of course we run on the presidential cycle, so it was this very divisive election. And we had just gone through, we were in COVID, we'd gone through this summer of discontent where we had riots and George Floyd and all these other things. And Trump, this was now September, and Trump was already casting aspersions on an election that hadn't happened yet, telling us that we wouldn't be able to trust it no matter what. And a friend of mine said, "Isn't there something you can do? You've got to help fix this." And that was the moment for me when I just thought, I can't do anything. I'm just running for governor of Utah. I don't have anything to do with any of this. And she convinced me otherwise. She convinced me that we all have to be involved, that this should be a passion project for all of us. That's when I did the ad with my opponent. I called him up then a couple days later, thanks to her, and just said, "Hey, would you be willing to do something really crazy with me? Just the two of us in front of a camera saying that we disagree, but we don't hate each other, and we can agree to accept the results of the election no matter how they come." And that was the moment when I thought, maybe kind of a nobody from Utah, maybe we can make a difference. When that went viral, there is hope out there. There is a hunger for this. There really is an exhausted majority. We're just not giving them any options or any outlets.
Amen. And certainly we all remember seeing in 2020 that a gubernatorial candidate, well, did you see this guy record an ad with his opponent, and then it was on the Today Show? And that's why I say, genuinely, you have been a hero of this movement for so long, and really made so many dreams come true, in the sense of maybe one day some of these small nonprofits, some of these social entrepreneurs here will see the highest positions of power preaching the message that we all believe so passionately. And as you talked about, Governor, the exhausted majority, we know that many of our fellow Americans are struggling to maintain hope in the promise of this great nation. And, if we're honest with ourselves, those that are on this call, the leading leaders of the Bridging Divides movement, we can be tempted to lose hope as well. So really curious to know, for you as a human being, amidst such national and global turmoil, what do you personally do to maintain hope, to keep yourself energized and moving in a positive direction? You always show up so positively, Governor. We really want to know the trick.
Well, I'm not always that positive. I will tell you, I have some dark nights and some dark times, and I wake refreshed and reinvigorated in defense of our country. I have to say, look, I recognize that I'm the NGA chair for 1 year, short amount of time. I kind of come in and guns a-blazing. This is the most important thing ever. And you all have been doing the work for years, for decades, some of you, sometimes toiling in obscurity, wondering if you're going to be able to get to fundraise to keep things going, but knowing this is your passion project, you all give me hope. I knew about some of you, but there was a meeting where many of you came together back in DC. It was the first time I met several of you, and I left so inspired and so excited to know that this work was happening all across the country, and that gave me hope. What also gives me hope is I'm a student of history, and we've had dark times before. There is recency bias is a real thing, and we all suffer from it. That now it's always the worst or the hardest or the most difficult. And I do believe that by studying the founding of our nation, understanding the trials that they went through to defeat the greatest superpower on earth, the trials they went through in just forming a government and a constitution, bringing all these differences together and trying to make it work. If you look at what happened in the 1850s and 1860s, I'm reading the new Inskeep book on Disagree We Must, or I forget what it's called, but something like that. You should all read it. It's about Lincoln and what was happening with slavery. And you read, and then you read about the 1950s and 60s and the civil rights movement and Vietnam, World War II. All of those things, all of these dark times that we that our nation has faced, and we've come through believing in each other, even when we probably shouldn't believe in each other. And I don't think those days are over. I really don't. And as long as you are all here and fighting this good fight, I still believe in us. And I believe that that Americans are looking for anything. They want some hope. They're losing hope, but they will grab on if we can just present them something, anything. There's a market failure here. The first party, the first candidate to figure this out is going to win by huge margins, but we just need a little less cowardice and a little more of those American virtues that are so special.
Yes, and as these leaders have, as you acknowledged, toiled away in relative obscurity for so many years, there's always been this dream of one day there could be breakthrough. And with that in mind, we are so excited about our close partnership with you and the National Governors Association to co-create and drive an expanded Disagree Better campaign in 2024. Steve, Manu, and Carissa shared their thoughts on the campaign a couple hours ago, but we want your thoughts. As these bridging leaders today and then leaving and over the holidays, consider how their individual and collective efforts might help drive and be advanced by this joint NGA plus Bridging Movement Alignment Council Disagree Better campaign. What do you want them to know, Governor, about your vision for Disagree Better? And how would you describe the opportunity for mutual benefit and reciprocity between this field of bridging practitioners and your effort?
It's a great question. And again, I'm just so excited we're having these conversations together. It means so much to me. I was when I became the NGA chair, I had this kind of idea that we would do this because we can't solve any of the problems facing our country if we all hate each other. And so this is the issue, the most important issue. facing our nation and
Amen.
maybe the future of our nation. Just, I know I'm preaching to the choir, you all know that, but I say that because it was really important. I was actually, I'm a huge music fan, and I was reading a book by my favorite band. So I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, and U2 is my band, and Bono's my guy, even though our politics are very different. And I'd always been fascinated, I was a political science student in the 90s, and I was really interested in what Bono was able to do with some of his Africa initiatives with a Republican president and a Republican Congress, and how he worked to bring both sides of the aisle together. Obviously, things have changed drastically since then, but so he comes out with this book about his life, and there were several chapters in there about this initiative that he did, and I just started having all these ideas kind of popping, and there were some real words of wisdom in there. He had been spending time with the sage of Omaha. Mr. Buffett was giving him some ideas about how to do this campaign. And he said a couple things that were really interesting. And I realized I was thinking too small, that we needed to start thinking much, much bigger. Okay. And he said, don't ask Americans to do something easy, or they won't do it. You have to ask Americans to do something hard. And you have to give them something to believe in and something to rally around. And I started thinking, if politics is downstream of culture, how do we get culture more broadly involved in what we're trying to do as well? And can we dream much bigger? And so here's the thing. I just keep throwing out these wild ideas. I do want a national campaign. I want to raise tens of millions of dollars or more to be able to do something really big. We have to provide counter programming to what we are going to see next year. Again, people need to see that there is something else out there. We have an entire generation, including my kids, who think this is how we do politics because this is all they've known for the past 6 or 7, 8 years, right? My oldest is 25, my youngest is 16. This is all they know. So can we do that? Can we take what you're doing and amplify it in a very, very big way? I don't know if it's been shared with you. We're also trying to do some things on the culture side. We're trying to get movie stars and others involved. We want to hold a huge concert. Again, this was kind of Bono inspired, where we have lots of musicians from different political stripes, different genres of music, singing about America and America greatness, not the America greatness where we hate everyone else. This is about true patriotism, about us taking care of each other, about freedom and responsibility together. Those two great counterbalancing things that have made Utah or made the United States so incredible. So that's where my brain is right now, and what we're trying to do. And maybe none of it will happen. Maybe we'll just, maybe we'll just keep doing our thing and trying to get as much of it out there as possible. I will say we've got 15 governors right now who are making ads or have made ads already. We've got more in the hopper. We want to get them more involved. And so all I'm asking for you is to dream big, pray hard, that these things will come together. I still believe that if you believe in God or the universe conspiring in our favor, whatever it is you believe in, I believe that the divine is on our side in this, that we are on the side of angels, and that miracles will happen. Sorry, I don't want to get emotional, but Amen. I still believe in a God of miracles. And I think this great nation needs a miracle.
Wow. Thank you, Governor. People are going to be a couple minutes late to their next meeting because they're not gonna turn away from you. And we have from Kara in chat a suggestion that the next hero ad should be you and Bono. So we'll get Steve right on that. But last question, Governor. After 4 hours of collective work and inspiration, it is indeed now time to close this 4th annual gathering of the Bridging Movement Alignment Council. Governor, as we look ahead to the risk and opportunities of 2024, what's your closing message for this group of patriotic leaders who committed themselves to pursuing social cohesion and collaboration in America?
Yeah, my final word to you is, first, thank you, thank you, thank you, a million times thank you for what you're doing. Number two is, don't give up. Don't you dare give up. Do not stop what you are doing. Again, look for those miracles. They're out there. There are those they that are with us are more than they that are against us, as the Bible tells us. We know that they're out there. They want us. So look for those opportunities to join forces. We are so much more powerful together. And my job is to help elevate you. If there are opportunities for me to elevate you, please let me know. If there are others I can reach out to help elevate you, please let me know. We are all in with you. My term ends in July of this year. That's it for me. I'm running for one more term as governor. If I'm lucky enough, I'll get to do this for 4 more years, and then that's it for me. But you will outlive me when it comes to the work that you're doing. And so if I can end this initiative with every one of your organizations being stronger, that's how we do this. That's how we get through it. So please don't hesitate to ask for our help.
Governor Cox, thank you so much for being here and for leaning into this hopeful mission with us. And listen, friends, deep thanks to each one of you who dedicated your time today to this annual BMAC gathering. I wish you peace, rest, and joy over the holiday season. We got a lot of work to do next year, and it will be hard. But remember, got chills too, you are not alone on this mission. We will find hope in each other. We're going to provide hope to our fellow Americans. We will achieve greater impact together. God bless you and happy holidays.